Hi friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today I have a special video for you. I hope you enjoy it. But first of all, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Brenda. I am so happy to have you. And if you're returning, welcome back. You know I love you. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here's DIY number 1. Okay, so for this DIY, I'm going to use my Rustoleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to use some different florals I had in my stash. I'm going to use some Spanish moss and then these little seed starter pots that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to also use this fresh flower market sign that I bought a couple years ago, I believe it was at Dollar Tree. And then I just recently found this on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I paid $4.99 for it. It was originally $19.99 and I just had to grab it. So I start off by removing the hanger from that fresh flower market sign. And then I just removed the staples. And once I have all the staples out, I'm not going to fill it or anything because you're not going to see the back. So instead, I'm just going to use my wood glue and I'm just going to go all around the middle part of that, the back of that sign. And then after I have all that wood glue on there, I'm going to use my hot glue. Of course, the wood glue is for permanent hold. The hot glue is for immediate hold. So then I'm just going to place it where I want it. And then I take 3 of these little seed pots and I'm cutting them in half so that I have 6 halves. Then I'm going to use my paint and I'm doing a thick dry brushing with my white chalk paint all over each one of those. And once I was done with that, then I took my Fix-All glue and I'm just putting it along the sides and the bottom of my pots. And then I'm going to take hot glue and go over the rest of the areas that I did not have the Fix-All glue on. And then I'm just going to hot glue them onto my plaque here and have them just diagonal of each other, I guess is the right way of saying, I don't know. Anyways, I started filling those pots with my Spanish moss and then I ran out. So I had bought recently a huge bag of Spanish moss from Hobby Lobby but it was green. So I ended up having to put a little bit of that all over or in each one of those pots so that it all matched. Then I took some boxwood greeneries that I had sitting next to me and I just added a little sprig into each one. This is a lavender pick I recently got at Walmart. So I'm just going to cut it there. I'm going to cut it in half and then I'm going to use both the halves and I'm going to stick them in 2 different pots. And I kind of tried to not have them right next to each other. I wanted it to be a little bit different. Then I got these daisies just recently at Hobby Lobby. And so I'm just going to put them in one of the pots there. And then these I think are Gerber daisies. I got these at Dollar Tree. So I'm using some of those. And then these are the mini ranunculus, I think you call them. And I'm just going to take a couple of sprigs of that flower pick and add them to the rest of those pots. And I really love how this came out, you guys. I love them. Anyway, so then I took this sheer green ribbon that I had in my stash. I have no idea where I got it or how long I've had it, but I'm just hot gluing it to the front of the pots, just under that little lip, as you can see. And I used this green because since that sign was green, I just kind of wanted to bring some green in for that. So once I had that hot glued on all of them, I just took some twine and made just some little shoestring bows. And then I'm going to hot glue them right on top of that sheer green ribbon. And I'm just showing you here that I'm making a shoestring bow, just simple, like you're tying your shoes. And that's all there was for this. No, it's not. I did do a hanger. No, I didn't. It already had a hanger in the back, so I didn't need a hanger. I did do a finger bow and add that up by the flower market sign. And that's all there was. So I love this. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. Okay, I want to say thank you to all my wonderful subscribers. You guys all mean the world to me. And if you are new here, or even if you aren't new and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please hit that button before you go and become part of our family. And then if you'd like to support my channel, you can do that by giving me that thumbs up, commenting, watching those ads. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find the links to those accounts as well as my Buy Me a Coffee account in the description box below. Okay, DIY number 2. So I'm going to use some more of my Rustoleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to use some tumbling tower blocks, 2 of them to be exact. And then one of these little spools, wood spools, I think I got that in a bag of them from Hobby Lobby. And then this little house came from Zaina with OK at Home DIY. She gave that to me recently. And then this wood plaque from Dollar Tree and these essential stencils. I'm going to use these transfers from Essential Stencils. So first of all, I'm going to paint all those items white. And then once they were dry, I took my Fix-All glue and my hot glue, and I'm just putting them on the bottom part of that little spool. And I'm going to hot glue that, and, well, not just hot glue, but I'm going to glue that onto my little house here. Once I was done with that, I took a little paint bottle and I am just tracing out a circle with a pencil. And then I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I am just going to outline that circle, and then I'm going to paint it all black. So it looks like a birdhouse hole. And after I have that all done, I had those little tumbling tower blocks sitting there just kind of so I would know where to put the circle at. So once I have this done, I set it aside to dry, and then once it was dry, I used my Fix-All glue and my hot glue again to hot glue those 2 tumbling tower blocks onto my house just to make it look like a little roof over the hole for the birdhouse. And then after that, as you can see, I cut out the bird that I wanted to use, and I'm just placing him on to my house, and I put it so that his feet went onto that tumbling tower block, because then I thought it looked a little more like he was standing on it. And then I just start rubbing. I rubbed forever, but not really, but I just kept rubbing, and then I was tearing off the top piece, but then the tail came off. So I'm just placing it back down and rubbing with my fingers. The reason why that came off, it wasn't sticking, is because I probably should have sanded this house. There were some grooves in it, and so it took a while for me to finally get it to stick in with those grooves, but then it just stuck really nicely. And then after that, I cut out some of the cherry blossoms here, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to lay it. And I'm going to do the same thing, just going to keep rubbing until it sticks. And then I start pulling off the film. And then while I'm pulling, if I see it coming off, I just lay it back down and rub some more. And then it will stick. And so as you can see, I still have a little bit on that piece. So I decided to go ahead and let it run over to the side. I just thought that kind of gave it a nice little special touch. So I just made sure that it was in line with the part that it came off of, and then rubbed until it was on my wood piece. After that, of course, I decided it needed a little bit of distressing, so I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and this little stencil brush, and I'm just going around and just doing a little bit of dry brushing all along the edges of my birdhouse. I do the front and the back, and then I just do a little bit of dry brushing on the side of the house and the top. And I also did this to the little wood plaque, oval red plaque, as you see. And then after that, I took my wood glue here. I'm adding it to the bottom of my house, and then some hot glue, again for the immediate and permanent hold. And then I'm going to add it to that plaque. After that, I took one of these birdhouses I just recently, and bird nests that I recently got from Hobby Lobby. It was on sale 40% off. And I'm just going to use hot glue to glue it right there on the plaque in front of the birdhouse. And then I took these eggs, and these little wood eggs from Dollar Tree, and I painted one with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Sandstone, one in the color Ballet slipper, and this one, I don't know if it's a new color or if I've just never seen it before. I can't think of the name of it. Just a sec. well, I'll have to have it in my description box because I can't read it. But it was a really pretty green, so I got that and tried it out. So I'm going to use, again, my Fix-All glue and my hot glue. And I found these, I had these in my stash. I had painted them previously, the little dowel caps, and I just added them for feet. Now I'm going to show you in very slow motion how to do a finger bow. Just took my ribbon, wrapped it around my 2 fingers like you see. I cut off the excess. I cut a little longer tail. And now I'm just threading that in between my fingers and then coming up around the front of it or back of it and then going back under that loop that I just wrapped over my bows and then pull tightly. And that's how you do a finger bow. Finger bow. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't talk tonight. Must be the time change. Then I just hot glued it to the top and there it is. I absolutely love this. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, it is time for a celebration of your recreations. And oh, pretty Andrea, I love that. What is it called? Window cling? Yes, I love that. That egg's beautiful. And Pamela is so cute. I love it. She recreated my little bike with the cart. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And then we have these adorable pieces that May made. Make sure you check out her channel. It's called Craft Away with May. She is awesome. And if you have a creation or recreation that you would like me to showcase for you, you can send me pictures to my email address that's listed there, or you can send them to me through Facebook Messenger or Instagram, and I'd be more than happy to showcase them here for you. Okay, here is DIY number 3. So for this DIY, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I am going to use my COUTURE chalk paste in the color Slate, Rose, and Pesto. Then I'm going to use this sign that I got from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use some of my half beads here. I'm not sure what size they are, but they're pretty small. I get them from Amazon. I do have them, I believe, linked in my Amazon store. And then I'm going to use my Chalk Couture transfer. Look at this transfer, you guys. I just love it. It's just beautiful. I just received it. And it is called, oh my goodness, I can't read it. Peaceful Garden. There it is. And I cut out the piece that I wanted, and then I removed the hanger from this plaque. Now, it was kind of cracked where that hanger went, but that's okay. It's going to get covered up. So I was going to paint this plaque, but I decided I kind of liked the color. So instead of painting it, I am going to take my wood glue and I'm just going to brush it on in sections, and then I'm going to add these half beads. Now, when I got to the end, there was kind of a gap and it wasn't big enough for another piece. So I did kind of have to move them around a little bit, because right now I'm just putting them right up next to each other. So I had to kind of space them out a little bit so that I could cover up the top area. So that's the nice thing about using the wood glue instead of the hot glue. It gives you have a little time to move things around if you need to adjust where you're placing them. So I just went ahead and went up this whole side. I went around the whole frame with those half beads, and it really didn't take very much time at all. And then I let it set for about half hour, 45 minutes. And then I came back and I'm taking my Chalk Couture transfer. If you're not familiar with Chalk Couture, they are adhesive transfers that have a silk screen, and you need to fuzz it the first time you use it, because if you don't, then it could pull up the paint. Even though I don't have paint on this, I still like to fuzz it to make sure it is going to work. So once I had it placed where I wanted it, I'm just going to rub it all around, so make sure that it is connected and there's no gaps or air bubbles. Then I'm taking my rose color here and my squeegee, and I'm just going to squeegee the flower, color the flower with this color, and then do the leaves with my Pesto. If you're interested in Chalk Couture, or if you would like to try it out, you can find my link to my page in my description box below. And one of the things I usually like to recommend is, if you want to try it out, a good way to try it is doing the Chalk Couture Club. And it's $21.99 a month, and you get an exclusive 8x11 transfer that nobody can buy. It's only for people who are part of the club. And then you get 3 coordinating chalk paste that comes with it. And you do have to sign up for at least 3 months before you can cancel. But I always think it's a great way to get started because you get that transfer in the chalk paste, and it's just a great way to get started and see if you really like it. I loved it. I tried it out before I became a designer before I ever tried it out. But I love it. So anyways, if you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment box or email me. I'd be happy to answer it. So after that, I went with my white chalk paint here, and I'm just dry brushing all around those beads and just kind of trying to get in between the beads. And then once that was dry, I went over with my antique wax and just doing a little bit of dry brushing with the brown around it too. And then I added a hanger by tying knots on the end of jute string and hot gluing it to the back. And that's all there is for this one. No, it's not. I forgot. I did make a bow. So as you can see, I'm tying a knot on the ends, and then I'm going to hot glue those. And then I did trim down the ends so that long piece wasn't hanging there. And then after that, I'm going to make a bow. So I'm just going to make a finger bow. I didn't slow this one down, but I just made a finger bow with some jute twine that I had. This is a little thicker jute twine than I usually use, but it was sitting next to me and I was being lazy. I didn't want to get up and get my thinner one. Plus, with it being brown, I thought that the thinner one would be harder to see. So I'm just going to hot glue it right there and then trim it off. And then that's all there was for this one. And there it is. I really love how this came out. I think it looks like something you would find at a store, but you have to let me know what you think about this one. Okay, so here we are for DIY number 4. Okay, so this one, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color white because I finally used up all that Rustoleum chalk paint that I've had for a year and a half. And then I made that decal with my Cricut. This napkin I got last year from decoupagenapkin.com, which I love it. And then I'm going to use this little house piece that I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start off by removing that hinge from the picture here. And then after that, I am going to take it off, and then I'm going to start ripping off the top part of this paper. This came off super easy. I love it. When I know I want to remove the paper, I love it when it hangs over because it makes it so much easier to rip off. But I rip it all off. I do this and I rip it off on the house. And then I take my spray bottle and I spritz it all down with water, and then I let it sit for a few minutes and then use my paint scraper here to just scrape it all off. And then if there's any adhesive on the back of on it, then I will just use like some Goo Gone to kind of wipe it off. But once I was done with that, I took my chalk paint here by Waverly and painted both sides of those house and that square piece with my chalk paint. Then I fussy cutted my little napkin here. I'm just going to cut it out all around, and so that all you have left are the birdhouses. I didn't want any of the napkin. You can also just use a paintbrush and water if you want to do this. I know a lot of people do that. For some reason, I just like to cut. I don't know. It's kind of soothing for me, I guess. I don't know. Then I removed these napkins have 3 plies. So I removed that. I removed the first ply when I started cutting, and then I just removed the second ply. Then I'm just using my Mod Podge. I'm painting or using the Mod Podge where I'm going to lay my birdhouse, and then I just very gently lay it down onto the Mod Podge, and then just kind of use my fingers very gently to smooth it out. And you want to be careful not to rip it. And so that's why I'm being really, really careful and doing it very gently. Now, normally I will use my heat press, but this time I decided, since these are just in smaller ways, and I forgot to, when I was cutting it, normally before I start cutting, I will add my Mod Podge and let it dry. And I didn't. And I was on a time crunch, so I decided to just do it this way. So that's why I'm just trying to be very careful so I don't rip the napkin. Then I took my saran wrap here in my little brayer, and I just made sure to get any bubbles out and make sure it was all smooth. after I was done with that, I just went and covered it all with my Mod Podge. In fact, I went all over the sign, which could have been a problem here. I might not have been dry all the way because I'm adding my decal, but when I went to go remove it, see, my eye came off. It was kind of pulling up the paint. So I just very carefully walked my transfer tape through. I did have to use a little bit of white paint to kind of touch up a couple areas there because it was pulling up some paint. But I think the Mod Podge wasn't dry all the way. So after that, I did the same thing here as I did on the other birdhouse, where I'm just using my little paint bottle here to trace out a circle and then paint it black. And then I'm taking this little dowel I got from, I think, Dollar Tree, I don't know. And I'm just cutting it with my miter shears. And then I'm going to go over, I paint 2 tumbling tower blocks with my white. And then I took some pieces of tumbling tower blocks that I had in my stash. They had been cut down previously and they were perfect size for what I need them for. So I paint all of them white, including that little peg that I cut for my birdhouse. So once they were all dry, I took my wood glue and hot glue here, and I'm just going to hot glue the tumbling tower blocks at the top part of this house just to give it a little eave, I guess you would call it. And then once I have that all on, I just took some hot glue, pretty good portion, and then hot glued my little peg right onto the house there. Then I'm just taking that hinge, and I'm going to use the screws that came off of it to screw it all back into place. And then I'm just going to screw it back onto the square piece. And then after I was done with that, I took some of these wood flowers from Dollar Tree. They come in a little pack in the garden section. I am using my Arteza paint markers to color in all the flowers. And then I'm going to use the green color to color in the leaves of each one of them. And then I also colored in that wood bird, and which I believe also comes from Dollar Tree. And then after that, I just took some hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue these flowers into place. And then I'm going to hot glue that little bird right onto the little perch there in front of the hole. And I did make a little bow, just a shoestring bow with some black gingham ribbon, and place it on top. And that's all there was. I love how this came out. I love that napkin. Oh, you have to let me know what you think about this one as well. And then the final reveal is coming right up. So again, if you have not subscribed to my channel and enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go. And then don't forget, you guys, to hit that thumbs up and comment. And share this video if you know someone who you think might enjoy it. That would help me out as well. And make sure you watch those ads, which you probably already have since we're at the end of the video. Anyways, you guys, I will be back again on Wednesday with another video. So with all that being said, you guys have a blessed week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.